Hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out this video. Doing a book review on the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. This book has been absolutely phenomenal. During this time of quarantine and COVID-19, I really just got tired of watching so many movies and so many TV shows, and so I kind of rediscovered and refound this passion for reading. And so I've read a lot of books in the past, and then I came across this book, and man, it was such a breath of fresh air for me. It's basically focusing on the importance of slowing down on just a lot of what you do, slowing down on, and he gives it a name, hurry. I mean, we're all in a hurry. We're in a hurry to meet our deadlines, to go according to our schedules. We're in a hurry to go to baseball practice, soccer practice. We're in a hurry to go to the grocery store. And so this book really tackles that a lot. And this book is, I would describe, primarily a kind of a Christian spiritual formation book. And I just really enjoyed it because, I mean, this whole situation in general has caused us to completely slow down, completely stop what we were doing. And in that time, we're stuck with our thoughts, we're stuck with our ideas, we're sitting here contemplating everything that we want to do once this is over. So yes, I want to do a book review, kind of do a deep dive in some of the subject matter on this book. If you read it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it as well. If you haven't, well, I'm excited that hopefully you'll go pick this up because it's an excellent book. And so just a little bit background of the author. He's a pastor, still pastors now, but kind of the book is it's like a new journey or a new page of his life after he's been pastoring in kind of a mega church that had 6 or 7 services every Sunday, was dealing with burnout, was dealing with kind of a spiritual issue of not growing. And so one of the first things I found to be really tremendous about this book was the main kind of concept that he talks about in here, how the concept of hurry can be a detriment to our spiritual life. As a Christian, and I believe in our church culture, it's so easy to get caught up in all the things that happen in church, all the church activities, all the events, all volunteering, that a lot of that can kind of get us caught up in doing the acts or the works of God, and then for ourselves personally, we kind of lose that personal and spiritual touch. And so he really talks about how this concept of hurry can be that issue. And if we choose to take a second to kind of stop, slow down, and evaluate why we're in such a hurry, and give it pause to see if it's even a good reason to continuously be in a hurry about that. He says that he just really explains that it's really great importance for us to value that. An awesome quote he uses in the book that I have heard many of times, but it just kind of hit me a different way in this book. And it said that it's a Greek quote. It says that an unexamined life is a life not worth living. And that really struck me hard because, as you're sitting here on the couch, or as you're stuck at home, or as you're working from home, you're not in that environment with everybody around you fueling that energy or fueling that conversation. It kind of gives you a second to sit down and examine your life and examine your motives and why you're doing what you're doing, and examine the work that you're doing, and is it fulfilling to you? Is it worth continuing? Is it something that brings you joy? So that was kind of a turning point. Once I read this book, I was like, wow, man, it's really something if I was to sit down and examine my life and see where I am and see what I'm passionate about, see what I enjoy, just kind of evaluate where I stand in that. So absolutely love that. One thing that he really spoke about that I thought was tremendous was kind of the concept of, if you think about the concept of resting can be us sitting down. Resting can be us taking a break from work. But he really talks about the purpose of rest and the purpose of, if you're going to unhurry your life, well, what is that extra time? What are those moments going to be, and is it purposeful? What is the intent and the motive for that? And so he really breaks down the concept of isolation versus solitude. And I thought this was really interesting because there's a lot of other cultures and religions out in the world that really practice the concept of solitude. You do meditations, but solitude, he describes solitude as kind of being more purposeful versus us sitting in isolation and sitting in just scrolling through TV, scrolling through, just isolating ourselves to be by ourselves. Sometimes we do need alone time to ourselves, but he talks about, well, if you purposefully spend that time in solitude and spend that time hoping to maybe cultivate a greater relationship with God or a greater relationship with yourself, the benefits of that. And so he talks about that. And so it's an absolutely great chapter. It's in the part 3 of the book. And the book is broke down into 3 parts, and the first 2 are really good, kind of gives you purpose and intent, and then I think part 3 is just absolutely grand slam. He talks about the concept of silence and solitude. He talks about the Sabbath. And for me as a Christian, I thought the Sabbath was a great chapter. I think in the Protestant church, the Sabbath isn't as practiced as heavily as a lot of more Eastern Orthodox Christianity or even the Roman Catholic Church. But I found the Sabbath chapter to be very refreshing. And it's just talking about how, God worked for 6 days and he took a break. And a core emphasis that the author talks about here is God didn't take a break necessarily because he was tired. God can't become tired. He is anything and everything and all things at the same time. But he created the earth. He created everything in 6 days. And the Sabbath was a time for him to sit, rest in the purpose of acknowledging what he has done, acknowledging what work has been done. And so I thought that was just absolutely great, because if we take our lives and we were to practice our Sabbath, that is a day of worship. That's a day of worshiping God. And worship doesn't just mean to sing. Worship means to just really acknowledge, spend time, whether that's just reading the word, reading commentaries, listening to worship, just something of that nature. It's a way of you just really connecting to God with the purpose and intent of, let me look back and see what God has done in my life in this past week. And let me look at where I've come from and where I am now and be grateful for what all has been done. And just thank God for where I am right now, that I'm breathing. Thank God for my family, that everyone is there, And so that chapter was just, it was great. It was a really good chapter. I really enjoyed reading it, really enjoyed just hearing that. So that was good. I would believe that if you read this book, or if you would intend to read this book, it would say to me a very similar position I was in, that you're just taking a second to maybe understand and recognize the hurry in your life, or the hurry. I know for me, even though I'm still stuck here at the house, I'm still working from home. My wife and I, we have a company where we do our own fulfillment. We sell products and stuff. And so we took that out of our office, brought it to our home. And so I'm still working. But even though I'm at home, I find myself still being in a hurry. I find myself continuously finding things around the house that need to be done, finding little chores, whether it's just washing clothes. And it's not even so much it's that it needs to be done. It's just I need something else to occupy my time with. And so maybe you're in that position where you're kind of recognizing there are things in your life that are continuously just occupying your time. And just what if you took a second to like slow down and really think about, well, what do I really want to do with that time? Like, what could I do with that time that's more purpose driven, more meaningful to me? And so that's a lot of what this book is about. And I was always an avid reader, but I got too busy just working and trying to establish stuff and create businesses that I really lost my joy for reading. And so this book is the first of many books I'm reading during this time. We've been self-isolating, social distancing, quarantining for about a month now, like a straight month. In that time, I've read 5 books, so I really love that. I'm hoping to bring more book reviews to talk about those books, talk about the subject matter, but yeah, this is just my book review on this book. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Absolutely love it. If you're looking for, something that can make you contemplate a little bit more about your life, let you critically think about some things in your life or think about what you may really want to do, I really advise to pick this book up. It's great, a great spiritual formation book, I believe. And yeah, if we just slow down just a little bit and we're purposeful with the time that we have, because time is the greatest currency. It's time you can never get back. You can always make money and lose money, but once you lose time, it's gone. It's gone. We're only here we're here until we go. We have a certain amount of time on this earth, and so we maybe want to, think about what do we want to do with that time. This could be a moment where you're thinking about, you're kind of going through a life change, and you're thinking about where you want to be in the next 10 years. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I've just turned 30. I'm like, man, I see where and what I did in my 20s. So now I'm really already looking to 40 and like, what do I want to do with these next 10 years? And I didn't have that perspective when I was 20 years old. I wasn't thinking about where do I want to be when I'm 30. When I was 20, I was just thinking about Chipotle and going to the movies and just kind of living in the moment and enjoying whatever took place. But now I have a son. I've been married for a decade now, and my wife and I are just really dreaming about what that future is going to be. So this book, excellent resource again to maybe give you a second to slow down. I hope you've enjoyed this book review. If you did, or if you didn't, I'd love if you would hit the like button down below. And if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be doing more book reviews, and then hopefully a little bit more subject matter. I really enjoy teaching, and so maybe I'll do some videos breaking down specific subjects in this book that he talked about with some kind of maybe some Bible verses and just kind of applying that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, I would love to hear in the comments. If you've read the book, I would love to hear in the comments what you thought, what you took away from it. And so thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos and book reviews like these. Thanks, guys.